rocking East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast, bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast and stay tuned in each week. But enough of this, let's get it.
Hey, welcome to In the Lab.
Coach Rock
and Coach O.
Today we got co-head coaches in the building.
Sir.
Coach Matthew, what's going on, Coach?
Good to see you, man.
What's up, Coach? How you doing, Coach? We got Steve Matthews in the building and Coach Chad
Owens.
Shadowens.
Coach Shad. I'm Shad.
I'm sorry about that, Coach.
Let's start with last week. Last week I had a 35 win over Lakeway. How y'all feel about your performance last week?
You know, feel good. Anytime you get a win, you feel positive about that, especially game one. A lot to improve. So we're preaching to our guys improvement between week one and week two, and guys are working hard. I feel like we got a good group and we're ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shutout, right? We take that. A lot of mistakes still on defense, but we'll take any time you can get a shutout on the board. It's a good way to start the season. And a lot of improvement. Talked to him today about getting 1% better every day in practice and working hard in practice. And if you come watch our kids practice, they're getting after it. And they're doing all those things to get better every day. So we're excited about where we're going, but we're not near there yet.
Yes, sir. Coach Owens, I want to talk to you because this is my first time actually getting to know you and being around you. Can you tell the fans a little bit about yourself, where you got started and where you come from?
Absolutely. I'm old. I started when I was 19. I had a knee injury, second knee injury at Middle Tennessee State, so I started coaching as I was in college at Smyrna High School, which is the school I went to. I got the head coaching job there when I was 26. I was there 14 years. I was blessed to coach a lot of great players. My last 2 years we went back-to-back state championships. So at 5A, which was only 5 classifications at the time, so it was the highest classification. And went from there, started a program at Middle Tennessee Christian School for 1 year. First year they had a program. And then I went to Blackman for 6 and coached a lot of great players, including everybody knows Jawan Jennings. He was my quarterback those last couple of years. And then I came up here to East Tennessee and went to William Blunt. Didn't know anything about it. That's a tough job, obviously, because Maryville and Alcoa get all those players going. And now I've been friends with Steve for a long time and had an opportunity to come here and work together as assistants in the spring, and now we're co-head coaches. So that's a little bit about me. This is year number 30 as a head coach.
That's awesome, Coach. That's awesome.
So I'm a little old, but 56, I feel young. I feel like I'm 40 still. You know,
That's awesome. Hey, Steve, you actually done won a championship, if I'm speaking correctly, in 4 and 5A, correct? I didn't know that you actually had won one in 5A as well. So y'all kind of familiar with the 5A and then the private school. How does the private school, Steve, match up compared to the 5A and the 6As in the state of Tennessee?
At the D2 AAA level, you know, from my experience, I might be biased. It's a different world.
Yeah.
It's a different universe, really. You know, and just the level of play, the coaching. Seems like the commitment to winning these teams have is kind of second to none right now. And I think if you look at who's signing football scholarships and all that stuff, they typically come from those schools. But the bottom line is, you know, we hadn't been in this league long, but we've beat Innsworth, we beat BA, we beat Baylor twice, beat Fowler. We've beat all these teams, and so now it's just getting our group together where we need them to be, and going out there and beating them again.
Yes, sir.
You know, you talked earlier about knowing each other before y'all start coaching. How important is that to being co-head coaches, that relationship you already had?
That's easy for us. It's because both of us think it's about the kids. It's not about Steve Matthews or Philip Shadowens. You know, we're just coaching. Coach does a great job running the offense. I'm helping I'm running the defense. But it's easy for us. We have a relationship. I trust Steve. Steve trusts me, and so that makes it easy. It's about our kids. It's not about the coach on the sideline on Friday night. It's about the kids that are playing. So as long as you keep it about that, it doesn't matter. And so that's been easy for us.
And I will say it's been more than easy. I've loved it. Stuff maybe he doesn't want to do. Hey Steve, you mind doing this and stuff? I don't want to do it. Hey Shad, you know, I did this for you, do this for me. So it really does cut down your workload instead of maybe stuff you got going on. You can delegate that responsibility a little bit easier, and I think it's been great. I'm loving it.
I wish I'd have done it a long time ago.
Exactly. Same way.
It truly, it's made it somebody that you trust, somebody that you know is very good. It makes it really much easier than being a head coach. You know, that's every parent, that's every newscast, that's every reporter, that's and now we don't have to do it that way. You kind of split some of those responsibilities, and that's made it good.
Let's talk about your quarterback a little bit, Jayden. He's one tough guy. I seen him this summer, and in 707 he had a cast on him, I believe, and he was still out there delivering dimes.
He played with a sling in some games.
Yeah, I seen that.
And I asked our trainer 10 times, are you sure this is okay?
Right.
Is it okay for him to do this? Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, tough kid, very poised, extremely poised. Sometimes I wonder, is he intense at all? But then I'll see that spark.
Right.
Where I see that great leader in the huddle. At practice here lately, I've been kind of just letting him call his own plays, having ownership of the team, and I'm loving coaching him. I want to see him just continue to climb and keep getting better. He's got the guys around him, and he has the talent. It's just putting it all together.
Coach Shadow, this question for you. How do you think because you run the defense, correct? How do you think your defense played in week 1?
I thought we did some good things. We didn't reach some of our goals, missed too many tackles, gave up too many first downs. I mean, gave up 144 yards. I mean, I can pick a lot of things. I don't mind giving up 140 yards on a Friday night. I thought our defensive line ate pretty well, right? We want to get more sacks, but the pressures were incredible. They panicked back there, all night long. They couldn't block us. I thought that was good. I just didn't think we played as good at the second levels as we need to play. We need to be better at tackling. Too many yards after contact, and if you go back and look at that, probably half the yards came after contact. That's unacceptable. We got to get better at running our feet through tackles, running our face through things, and we're getting better every day. Coming from where we came, we started in the summer to where we are today. We've made a lot of progress, but we ain't near where we need to be.
Yes, sir.
Not to beat the teams we want to beat, and so. I feel really good about our D-line. We don't have a ton of depth, but I do feel really good about our D-line. A lot of pressures, continue to get better, getting off blocks. The things they got to get better at getting off double teams. I thought anytime they got single block, they were unblockable, but at times the double team beat us. So we got to get better there. I mean, everybody can improve. I can go through a whole list. I got a list about that long, but first of all, great effort. You should never coach effort, right? I mean, effort's a given, and so our kids played with great effort, which is the expectation every day.
Yes, sir.
And now we just got to get better at the fundamentals, get better finishing plays, because we're going to play against better and better teams as we go forward, and our kids understand that, and so we got to get better.
Yes, sir. Hey, Steve, next question for you. If I was to go check out a game on Friday night, say if I went to West, I go to West game, I see multiple guys playing both sides of the ball. How does that, is playing both sides of the ball harder in this division as opposed to being in one of those different leagues, and how do you guys go about that?
This early in the year, it might be one of those things where we try to keep them on the side. And honestly, when we do have disagreements, as coaching staff, it's probably on that. Let's take this guy. I don't know if you know. Have you ever heard of a guy named Torrey Hamilton?
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying. Let's get in Torrey on offense. And Coach Shad.
We can play him some on offense, but let's make it like 30% of the time when we really got to have a drive.
So that's honestly, when we do have disagreements, it's over at Torrey Hamilton.
Yes, sir.
I want him on offense, but it's one of those things where whatever we feel like is best for the team and in the long run. And so it is. I'm old school.
Yeah.
I kind of think, man, guys should be able to play both ways.
Right.
Cooper Mays did it. Cade Mays did it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that maybe it's a long season. These snaps wear on you, and so I got overruled on some of that, and so we'll go from there.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we're picking shoes, though. Same thing. I'd love to have Tyreek King playing some corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Tyreek King's also going to run about 15 deep routes on Friday night. We're going to throw it to him 12 or 15 times as well.
Yeah.
So we got to pick and choose. When I had Juwan Jennings playing quarterback, our backup wasn't close to him, but so he played corner. But he only played corner when I thought he needed to play corner. So I think that may go as the season goes on. We can play more.
Yeah.
Of course, you get obviously it cools down a little bit as the season
sure.
goes. It's a little hard when it's 95 degrees
Yeah.
outside. So hopefully, as the season goes on, we can share some of that share more kids on both sides. We both want, I'm old school too.
Yeah.
We both want kids to play both sides of the ball, but we also know we have to limit that if it's gonna last the whole year.
Yeah.
So you heard that. Is this recording?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to that.
Everybody get Tyreek.
Speaking of Tyreek, coach, and Braylon, talk about how special them two receivers are, and then after you explain that, talk about it as a third guy that you think coming up that can help carry some of that load.
Yeah, those two are, two definitely the best around. If anybody, there might be two better in the state. I haven't seen them, I haven't heard about them. One's a senior, one's a sophomore. Both of them are going to be college football players. Both can run great routes, very coachable, outstanding young men, and very fortunate to have them. That third right now is we kind of got a battle. We do have a freshman named DJ Lowry. I'm hoping comes on, very athletic. But Casey Jenkins, Connor Ruth, Jayden Harmon, they're kind of all battling for that spot. And Quincy Pinnell, who's playing a lot of running back right now, could also get out there and do some of that. And he's a smart. Quincy's a smart guy that can learn that. So kind of by committee that last group, but those two that you mentioned are very special, and expect to see a lot of big plays from them.
Talking a little bit about guys that's on the rise, Coach, seems like it's a lot of freshmen on the freshman team. Are you looking at any of those guys to step up this year and help us out on varsity?
I'm hoping so. We got 28 freshmen.
Yeah.
That's probably double what we usually have.
Yeah.
There's several that have done a nice job. It's funny, just the mentality of going to high school, the amount of information you have to learn. Ethan Hill, I think, has an outstanding future. Jamari Champion, DJ Lowry, who we talked about, Tyron Brabson, Jalen Ranker, Jordan Phillips, Cole Scraggs. There's a plethora of guys there. They're going to have great high school careers that are right on the cusp. And it is kind of tough. You're trying to go out and win on Friday night, but also get these guys,
Build them up.
yeah, their looks. We've always tried to play guys young around here. So hopefully soon, we'll be counting on those guys more on Friday night. Right now, they're just not quite there yet, but they're getting close.
Yes, sir. Hey, keep it in mind, guys. We like to play young guys over at the Irish.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
This week you got
Brevard.
Can you tell us a little bit about them and what can we expect in this game coming up?
Big and strong up front on both sides of the ball. Probably not as athletic as we are, but one thing about them, I talked to their coach. He said expect about 5,000 people on their sideline. They share the stadium with Brevard College, so should be a great atmosphere. We got a little bit of a travel with high school guys. Believe it or not, that kind of maturity level comes into play on the bus 2.5 hours. So we got to go down there ready to play, or it's going to be a rough night. But we got a great plan on both offense and defense in the kicking game. So hopefully we'll go out and play well.
Big power running football team from our perspective. Run a lot of boot. They do some things for the pass game. Pretty simple, but a lot of big stuff. But they do a good job of running the football. They are big and physical up front. They alternate 3 different tailbacks. They all look about the same, physical kids, and so it's going to be a challenge for us. They're going to try to run it. I would say after watching our video, they're going to try to run the ball, control the clock a little bit probably. I think they understand they probably have a tough time protecting because everything they do is slow development as far as from a passing standpoint, and so they're going to try to find a way to keep it out of our hands. I think they'll struggle with our speed. I think there is a difference in athleticism, at the skill positions, and so it's going to be up to us to kind of try to stop the run and make them do something they really don't want to do.
They also play in the tough division in North Carolina as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, perfect. Coach Matthews, talk to us a little bit about last year was a big controversy. I forgot what 2 schools it was about travel expenses and stuff like that, man. But I know we sometimes, like last year, we had to go to Memphis in the playoffs. Talk a little bit about the travel expenses in this division.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in every kid that's out there practicing goes to the games.
Yeah.
And Coach Shad feels the same way.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people are like, well, let's only take 40 guys in one bus, but we take them all. I think they deserve to go. They're out here. So we take them all. We got 75 on the team. So that's 2 buses, which is about $3,000 a piece. So that's $6,000. You got to feed them post game. and pregame. So it ends up being about $7,000 every one of these trips, and so it's expensive, but we have a great booster club. We have great foundation here that helps us with that stuff. But it's expensive. I'm not one to talk. Want to talk about that a ton. It is what it is. You got to travel and go play. You got to travel and go play. A lot of our guys want to play college ball, and part of it. You might as well get used to it.
Yes, sir. Sure is, Coach.
I met both of y'all. With being in the conference that you're in is probably, like I said, one of the toughest around. How do you go about scheduling non-region games? I know you got Alabama, team from Alabama coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy. Coach Surlis, our AD, handles the schedule, and he does a great job. Sometimes it's just difficult to find games.
Yeah.
A lot of teams around here don't want to play us. Just because we're, traditionally have been a tough team.
Yep.
And so I do think, though, with, I do have some relationships with some coaches around here, and I know Coach Shad does as well. Scrimmage in West and scrimmage in Beard this year. Who knows what's on the horizon? I feel those are two great coaches that want to play the best.
Right.
I got a ton of respect for both those programs.
Yes, sir.
And Maryville and Alcoa and some of these other schools. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to play us here pretty soon.
We would rather do that, guys.
Right.
We would rather play some local teams
Yeah.
than travel to Brevard, North Carolina. I mean, that's a long trip for our kids. Got to get out of school early. We would rather do that. It's just a matter of getting,
Getting right there.
them wanting to schedule us. And so I think relationships matter. So hopefully, 2 years from now, we can change that around and stay around here a little bit closer for some of our non-region games.
Yes, sir. Coach, I want to talk a little bit about the running game because you back running the offense. Last year it was totally different. We had Coach Miles from Georgia, and his offensive coordinator was from a 1A school. I can't remember. Bring back, yeah. But our running game, we pretty much didn't have a running game. How do you plan on incorporating a running game this year, Coach?
It's been a work in progress, to be honest. Still maybe searching for identity in that.
Yep.
But right now, I feel with Braylon, Harmon, and Quincy kind of getting the bulk of our carries, trying to attack the edges.
Yep.
I feel confident with that. And then
Yes, sir.
if we feel like we can get the push up the middle, but offensive line is inexperienced, and so we've got those two receivers on the outside. It's hard, not to use them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a work in progress. But I feel like we're making strides in that department. Coach Cronenberg does an outstanding job with the offensive line. He's the best around. We're very fortunate to have him here.
Yes, sir.
And so I feel like that's a building block for our team. But every day out there, I feel like we're getting better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach Chad Owens, talk about being over here, because Steve, you said you've been knowing him for a while. Talk about being around some of the other coaches and how has it been and how is y'all relationship building up?
Well, it's been great. I've known Steve for probably 25 years at least. I would say maybe a little longer than that. Never coached with him, coached against him. Some when he was at Siegel as an assistant. I was at Blackman, I guess, during most of that time. Maybe somewhere about Blackman during that time. But great football coach, great football mind. We've been friends for a long time. Spent quite a bit of time together, working with quarterbacks. I've always also run an offense. Generally, I've always run an offense as well. Coached a lot of quarterbacks.
Yep.
Knew Steve was also a guy that knew a ton about quarterbacks. We called him, and I had a kid I was working with and thought they needed something different than me. And I've called Coach, and he's worked with those kids. So our relationship is just growing. I mean, it's just a trust. But we would never been co-head coaches if we didn't trust each other already. But it's just grown, become better friends. We work together. We talk about 50 times a week on the phone, and we spend hours. We spend more time with each other than we do with our wives. So we're going to be pretty. We're going to be pretty close. Our staff is relatively a young staff. Coach Cronenberg, obviously, a lot of experience in the NFL, our offensive line guy, and we kind of all rely on him to give us an opinion on different things. He's a fantastic guy. Pretty much a lot of our staff is young, but I have Coach Alex Rice, who's played a ton of football at North Carolina State, played in the league for a while, who does a good job with our D-line. He's getting those guys better every day. And then we have some young guys that have come on, and they've just, they've been sponges. They're getting better and better, and coaching so well on the field. Ivan Phillips, Chase Kurtzen, he's a legend here at Knox Catholic. Went to Tulane and played, and so we're excited about our staff. I think Coach would tell you it's one of the better staffs as far as how they work together and the knowledge of the games from the better staffs you're going to be around. And we'll continue to grow that staff as we go forward. But we're really pleased with what our guys are doing.
Yes, sir.
With y'all being y'all first year, like as y'all see the program now, what do you think some of the steps y'all got to get back to being back to contender where y'all want to be?
I would say, honestly, as far at least on offensively speaking, the skill guys are maybe not are right there with what we've had in the past. And that's talking to Mari Rogers and Chase Christian. So right there, but. Cade Mays, Cooper Mays, and Brian Tucker. Those guys don't walk through the door. So I would say that, more than anything. But we've got some young receivers, but O-line, D-line, get some young O-line, D-line that developed, and I think we're starting that. But that comes to mind.
Yeah. We asked the kids, Coach. I'm gonna ask both of you this. I start with you, Coach, on this. We asked the kids, is it a game on the schedule that you look forward to playing, or is it a game that you like? That's the one right there. I gotta have that one. Is it one on the schedule for you, Coach?
I've never looked at it that way. Even back in Murfreesboro, when there were so many rivalries. When I said Blackman, it was Blackman Oakland, right? That's all everybody ever talked about in the county. It was a big deal. We were 4-4 the last eight times we played them. And I said, "Black, we were 4-4 against them." But our kids would probably think that way. But as a coach, right, you're just trying to get the next win, right? We understand at the end of the day, when you get to the end of the season, one win doesn't count more than the other. I mean, every region win's important. Then it comes down to tiebreakers, so your non-region opponents are important. So every game's important. I know that sounds like coach speak, but I think you have to approach it that way. I'm sure there's something out there. If we were playing a local team, a non-region game against West or Beard or Maryville, I'm sure that would be one of those that you would circle. The kids would probably circle, because it's local. But for us, I mean, every Friday night you better be consistent because we're gonna play some guys now. And, if you look at our region alone, when you talk about Brentwood Academy, NBA, Lipscomb, Baylor, and McCullough, those are the 5 teams in our region. I mean, like, which one of them is more important than the other? All them guys can play. All those guys have got some dogs now. I mean, really. So I think every week we just got to focus on us. And the thing that Coach Matthews and I both have talked about is playing to our standard. It don't matter who the opponent is. We got to play to Knox Catholic standard, and that standard has to be elevated from what it's been. Yes, and so that's what Coach preaches every day, and that's what I'm preaching every day. And we gotta play to our standards. Our standards just gotta keep rising.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Coach? Is it one on? Is you feel the same way Coach feel, or is it one on there? You like, man, we gotta get y'all back.
Hey, I don't want to give anybody any bulletin board material, so I'm gonna agree with Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I just like to say Team X. It doesn't matter what's out there. Team X.
Yes, sir.
We got to play as best as we can play, and play as hard as we can for 48 minutes. Look at the scoreboard and see what happens.
Yes, sir. I got one more question, Coach. I got one more question. If you look at your schedule, the last 5 games is what I call a gauntlet. How did you put the schedule together, or Surly's?
Well, that's all based just on drawing out of a hat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, those are all region games.
Okay.
I had a bad draw, didn't I?
Yeah, it's just the way it works out. Like Ainsworth's got NBA this week.
Yep.
And we open with our first region game is Ainsworth. Imagine being Briarcrest, they got to come to us in the middle of the year, week 4. So that's tough.
Yep.
So it's just draw out of a hat. Whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
Now, the next question I got for you, Coach, back to this week, what you think the keys is to come out with victory?
I think getting stops on defense is first and foremost. Protecting the quarterback. Like I said, they are big up front.
Yep.
I feel like we can do some things in the back end of their defense, but we've really got to protect our quarterback. And if we do that, play up to our capability, be great at the kicking game, I feel like we'll come out on top.
Slow the run down. From a defensive standpoint, we gotta, they're gonna try to run power football at us, and we gotta be better than that. And they're gonna get a few yards in there. We know that happens. I mean, they got players too, but we gotta control the run, give the ball back to our offense, and make them deal with our athleticism on that side.
Yes, sir.
Man, you heard it. Coach, I appreciate that. Come and say good luck this Friday.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Sir.
appreciate it.
Coach. Yes, sir.
And real quick, I want to say thank you to you guys, Rock, Coach O.
Yes, sir.
I always feel like any light shed on these young men around the area playing high school football, and I know you guys doing that. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to these young men.
We appreciate it.
You guys got things you could be doing, but you're out here trying to help these young men. And, it means the world to me. Just know if you guys ever need anything from Knoxville Catholic, we're here for you. I'm here to support you and wish you nothing but the best.
We appreciate it, Coach. Hey, you heard it first, man. In the lab,
Coach Rock.
Coach O. Go Irish.
Y'all know what time it is. You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rock and O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast. And stay tuned in each week. But enough of this. Let's get it.
In the lab,
Coach Rock.
Coach O.
We're here with the boys from Catholic today.
Catholic boy, Irish boys in the building. How y'all doing, fellas?
Great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir.
Appreciate you coming. Alright, big game, big win last week with 35-0 over Lakeway. How y'all feel about your performance last week?
I feel great. I mean, we've been working since when? January. We've been through a lot. All the coach changes and stuff. But I feel like we really set down on what we're gonna do, and we get it done. So we're gonna go 1 week at a time and get things done.
I think we did pretty good. There's a lot of stuff we could have cleaned up, but it's a win at the end of the day, and we're gonna fix it this week.
I think we did good. We got some stuff to work on. We did something.
That's how any team in the first week, you really, the first time y'all played. I mean, scrimmages, but y'all really don't do a lot of the scrimmages. Not to get out injury free, of course. But this week y'all go to North Carolina this week, right? Tell us a little bit about the team and what they're looking like.
So really one thing our coaches really preach is that it's Team X when we go to play them. We don't care who we play, we just ready to play. But we do go to North Carolina, so we can show what Knoxville got to do with ball. That's really what we're gonna show them.
Yeah, they're a big run team. Like they got an article about them talking about how they want to be tough and all this stuff. We got to show them what's tough out here in Tennessee. So.
Sure.
We're not worried about no team we play. We just got to work with it.
Well, fellas, is it anything you guys wanted to accomplish in week 1 that y'all felt like y'all didn't do that y'all want to come into week 2 doing? Like offensively wise, like for me when I played my senior year, I also wanted to be a leader, but I also set goals for myself. Every game I wanted to hit a certain number. Is it any numbers or anything that y'all didn't do in that first game that y'all want to come out and do the second game?
Yeah, so I think anyone that tells you they don't got a little bit of personal agenda going into a game, they're lying to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So of course I got a little expectation I'm trying to hit in the game, but at the end of the day it's a team sport. So if you go and get the win, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We definitely wanted to score every possession. That was a big thing that we weren't able to do, that we are planning to do this week. We got to score every possession just so it puts some leeway to where our defense can just be calm to where they can get a stop.
And get some of them young guys in
Yeah,
early.
that's what we're trying.
That's key. What about you, Tyreek?
Really just scoring. Score more.
Yeah, that's. I mean, to me, that's a big key with building development. If the starters like you guys can get in and get it done real quick, get some of the younger guys some playing time on the varsity level. The following year, those guys will be ready to ball. So,
Also this year, you never know. Like one of them guys might step up. I remember I was coaching at North City one year. We had a kid named Jayden Woods, but we had like Camion and some other guys. But in the playoffs, like they never really played him. And when they finally played him, like the playoffs, he came too close. Like we would have lost the one for him.
Yeah, straight up. How y'all think I asked this question to a lot of guys that get on the show, man, and I like this question. I feel like it brings out the interaction in the fans and the students. Tell y'all student fans about the show as well, man. But how do y'all feel the student section lines up and compare with the other schools around the area? Because I done seen some crazy fan bases, man. Anderson County got a good one. West. It's a couple good schools out there with a lot of good student, sections. And how y'all feel like Catholic rank? Because I feel like it's a great atmosphere when you come to a game here.
We got the best. I think we got the best, especially for we lack in size compared to all these other schools, like you said, Anderson County West.
Yeah.
But they just as loud, probably louder than the games we play in. So we just try to get out there and put on a show for them so that they can feed back the energy to us when we're out there playing.
How you feel, Harmon? Because when I'm in the crowd, man, I hear them always yelling your name, Braylon, and man, I seen one guy, man, he was in a Speedo last week. So it was crazy.
I think private school just does it different. Where I came from, public school, I thought it was big, and I came here, and it's just the whole city comes out.
Yeah.
We went to Baylor last year, since they were like a boarding school. Whole side of the section was full.
Yeah.
Which of course we still do better. We're still louder, but
Yes, sir.
that's just what I think.
Yes, sir. What about you, Tyreek?
Our atmosphere be crazy on the court. It's fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, speaking of this week performance, this week game coming up, how you feel going in, like mentally, y'all think y'all ready, like the whole team ready? Like, I know it's like Tuesday, so I know you still got some more days to play, but
Really, I'm still waiting. Because we've been playing against each other for months now in practice and stuff. We had a couple scrimmages, like you said, but that's still not the same as like a real game. We had that first game, but I was still hungry for some more. So I'm ready to play now. If it was tomorrow, I'm ready to play. But we got a couple more days of practice we're gonna get through, and then we're gonna be ready by Friday.
I think we still got a chip on our shoulder, man. We didn't play the best to our ability last week, so I think we're ready to show it this week. Go King.
It's definitely a chip on our shoulder from last year. They counting us out right now.
Yep. I heard the noise. I see it as well, man. And these kids do too. So they ready to respond, man. They ready to respond.
you know, y'all playing like I think Coach always talk about it. Y'all probably playing the toughest division in Tennessee.
I feel it is.
Yeah.
But they got it like I think fourth toughest in the country.
Yeah, for sure. Fourth strongest division in the country. I didn't really have a lot of knowledge about the division as well before I came here. I played in 3A when I was in high school, and I always felt like we ran the state. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you got 4A, 5, 6, and private, man, and some of them teams it's good in them divisions. But the reason I separate the private from the public schools is because you don't have a lot of downtime unless you're scheduling somebody that's out of conference. So, like far as division games and conference games, you're gonna get the best games in this division, and 6A probably being the next closest to that, but you in this area you only gonna face Merville. That's probably the strongest in this area, and Burden on the rise as well. But other than that, you going to Oakland and Blackman area just to get a good 6A team. So I definitely say the private school division is the toughest. What do y'all think?
I think for sure it's the toughest, but it being tough, that's when we came here. If it wasn't the toughest, we would be in one of those 6A, 5A, something like that. And they got good teams, but it just doesn't compare at all. It feels like every game you play in our division, it's any team you play in our division is going to be any other team in our 6A, 5A. So
I agree.
Yeah,
there's really every week's like a different hard, tough game. There's never a bye week technically.
Yeah.
Like there's never like a late weight that we just had. Like it's just every week's a tough week, and you always got to prepare for them. So no matter what.
From the first game to the last game, it's way different. Intensity of it straight up, like levels up.
The competition level is good as well, but the reason being is the players. Like you play receiver, so I do a lot of research on some of these teams we play, man. Sometimes you might be going against a corner that got 30 offers, man. How does the competition level feels compared to playing a West or a Bird, and how does it feel?
It like changes me. I don't know what it happens, but when competition comes, like I always love to rise to the occasion because with my height, I've been doubted my whole life.
Yes, sir.
And I've always been doubted. I've always just kept that chip on my shoulder, like I said earlier. And I'm just ready to go. Like I just get so excited when we're trying to play somebody. So when I see like a 5-star against me, I'm like, let's go. I'm gonna go score on them. So that's my favorite thing.
Yes, sir.
I had a question off my head because I was listening to what I was going to say. But is there any game on the schedule that y'all look at and y'all look forward to that game? I know y'all playing like you said, y'all got Inworth and Lipscomb and
there's some couple rival guys like I told y'all guys, I do my research. Innsworth, y'all know who on Innsworth. I won't smoke, you know what I mean? I hope you guys do as well. So that's what, I'm speaking as a in the lab guy, but as a fan of the Irish as well, because my sons play. But I'm gonna let you guys speak on it as well. Innsworth definitely one of them games I got marked on my calendar.
Yeah, I got like kind of two ways to look at it. One, everyone, I want to play everyone in our division, you know, tough competition. But if I had to choose, probably Innsworth, because I can go on that team. All I've been hearing a lot of talk about them. And then also another way I can see it is kind of like who, not really defense-wise compared to, but like their offense, like their quarterback. So Brentwood, that's who I want to play against.
Yeah, that's another one I want to play. You know, they just picked up Shavar Young too.
Yeah, they got George over there. I want to play against him.
So this will be a good one too.
My big ones are Lipscomb and Baylor. I'm trying to get my get back. We played terrible, and I hate because that just puts us down. Like that just makes us feel like we're not good enough. And I just want to show that we are good enough. We can play with these big teams like Lipscomb.
Yeah.
And let's go show it.
Yeah.
Really, Baylor and Brentwood, really.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
It's gonna be a good one, man. You versus Shavar right there, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be watching that all the way locked in. Yeah, for sure. Is there any goals that you guys, like I talked a little bit about it in the beginning, but there was kind of like game goals. What about any goals you guys got for the season that you want to accomplish?
For the season, obviously looking at it team-wise, going to state and winning it.
Yeah.
Well, for me, really, this is the last year that I'm gonna have everyone from when I started as a freshman. All of my brothers from then. That's gonna be the last year. So I want to get there and win that thing for them.
Yes, sir.
For that league. But personal goals, I'm trying to get all state, of course. I'm trying to throw more yards than I ever thrown. I'm trying to throw like 4,000 this season. I think we can with two guys we got right here.
For sure. For sure.
Mine is Mr. Football. I wanted it last year, started too late, didn't get it, and this year I'm pushing for it. That's just what I want.
You put on a good campaign last year, man.
Of course, stay for the team, but for me, over 1,000 yards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All them goals seem like they're very achievable, and I feel like if y'all accomplish y'all goals, it's gonna help the team get to where they need to be. So I like to hear that out of you guys right there. I like to hear that. Let's talk a little bit about recruiting wise. We'll start with you, Jayden. How has the recruiting process been for you this offseason?
Yeah, so I forgot exactly what month it was, what day it was, but they've just been able to start reaching out to me. I had a lot more colleges than I even thought, because I was ready just to go improve it my junior year. I'm still ready to go do that. That I'm underrated and everything, but there's been a lot more than I even thought, like Virginia Tech, Coastal Carolina, Vanderbilt texting me. But really, I'm just ready to go prove this year so I can go get that offer from them.
Yes, sir.
Go achieve what I want to.
Yes, sir. What about you, Mr. Harmon? You just committed to
Yeah.
Wofford, man. That's a great school right there, man. Well, talk to us a little bit about your commitment and what made you go ahead and commit and shut down your recruiting for the time being.
Well, I went down there about a few months ago and it just felt like home.
Yeah.
Like no other place has just been that nice to me, just loved on me and showed me that what I want to see. I love their offensive scheme, what they will do with me, and I have a good chance to play and go to the NFL from there. Like
Yes,
they have
sir.
9 NFL players right now by receivers,
Yes, sir.
just from Wofford.
That's
So
awesome.
I got a chance, and I know if I got a chance, I'm going to go there. So
Yes, sir.
That's
awesome. Tyreek, man, this offseason, man, you had a decent, above decent freshman season, man. I want to say you had over like 500 or 600 yards, 8 or 9 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. But this summer, man, like if they didn't know about Tyreek King, they do now, man. You kind of blew up this offseason, man. Talk to us a little bit about the recruiting process and how it's been this summer for you.
The recruiting process, it been smooth. I mean, of course, I was looking at other people getting offers, and I wanted what they had. So I reached out to the right people and got the same what they had, and I worked for it. I ain't just get it handed to me. I had to work for it like everybody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll definitely be looking out for you, man. You had a big off season, man. You reeled in a lot of offers, man, and we'll definitely be looking out for you in the lab, man. You got any more questions, Coach?
All right. Tyreek, man, start with you. Okay, it's Friday, school over with. What get you motivated for the game? What's your preparation for the game?
Game day song, of course, Young Boy.
Yeah.
Gotta go Young Boy.
I listen to some Michael Jackson. I don't know what it is, man. It gets me right, so I'm just gonna stick with that.
Yes, sir.
For me, I don't listen to no music. I usually talk to, what I gotta say before the game, to people I gotta say stuff to. But then really I just try to be myself, dead silent, calm. That's really how I play and how I've always played my whole life. I've been going to the game calm, not showing too much emotion. So I've always just been calm. Like literally, I got a tradition. I'll come in here for home games. I'll come and just sit in this weight room. Everyone else is there. I'll lay down on the floor right over there.
I'll be pacing back and forth while he's just sitting there.
Yeah, you got to get yourself focused.
Yeah, mind right.
Coach talked a little bit about music and how you get yourself ready for the game. I want to talk about, because I was a lineman, man. I couldn't go out on the field unless I ate something, man. I wasn't going to play the same. It's like the sneaker commercial, while wait, hungry while waiting.
Yeah.
So I always had to eat me a decent pregame meal. Is it anything you got to put on your stomach or anything you like particular for as food for a pregame meal?
So I usually don't eat too much. I just try to stay hydrated. So I make sure I get a good lunch, because that's way earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Make sure I get a good lunch around like 12. I might eat a tiny snack, but I don't really eat too much right before. I like to go out with more of an emptier stomach instead of full.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people like to eat a lot. I never like that really.
So what about
Yeah,
you?
I can't eat a lot because I know I'll be going both ways, so I'm gonna die if I do. But I try to eat less, and yeah, it works out better. So
I just eat whatever, really. It don't matter what I eat. I just eat whatever.
Candy, snack,
candy, all
yeah.
that, all that.
Your candy give you energy?
Yeah, super easy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk a little bit about this North Carolina game, man. How does that play in a factor, being that it's 2 hours and 30 minutes away, and then you look at guys from other schools, like you got cousin at Burden, man, they probably play right down the road. How does that play in a factor with getting ready? Because I know sometimes, like when I play right after school, I'm ready to eat and I'm ready to get focused and get locked in. A 2-hour bus trip, man, that's kind of dragging it on a little bit. How do y'all feel about the travel in this league? And talk a little bit about going 2 hours and 30 minutes away to play.
Yeah, so coming to my freshman year, I had played at Farragut, so we had been, how you were saying, played like 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of always went for me, right down the road. So coming in, my freshman year, it was like you drive 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours to play a game. I feel like with time, you kind of get used to it. So now I kind of enjoy the bus ride down there.
Yeah.
Not the way back, not the way back actually, but the way down there, you kind of learn to enjoy it. And then I've almost gotten so used to it that it was weird going down 10 minutes to Beard in first scrimmage, like 20 minutes to West first scrimmage. It was weird.
Yeah.
But you get used to it with time, really.
yeah, I definitely feel like I've gotten used to it. I actually like bus rides. Definitely, like he said, I don't like it on the way back, but I feel like it's just time to calm myself, because usually I'm just pacing. I'm just always so ready for the game, so I can just get to calm myself and just focus on what I need to do.
Yes, sir.
Bus trips, really just extra time to get your mind right. That's what I think it of. Listen to music, just chill. Whatever you do.
Yep, they give them a little extra time, get focused, get ready to do what they got to do, coach. You know what I mean?
Before we wrap it up with y'all, so safe to say, we didn't put you on the pick this week, but if I did, I was gonna go with y'all. So safe to say, y'all gonna come out with that dub this week.
Oh yeah.
No Hey, well, y'all heard it first, man, in the loud.
Coach Rod.
Hey, Coach O.
Till next week, we out.
Yes, sir, we out here.
Y'all know what time it is. You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rock and O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school